It's showtime. What's up, good people, and welcome to the Frank Harris Show, the biggest, the baddest, and the best show on earth. And look who's back, my guy, Dominican E. Yo, E.
What's up?
What's
What's
up,
up?
E?
What's up? What's up, Frank? What's going on?
Boy, E, I see your team is heating up down there. Boy, I heard you went down there and tore it up, boy, that in that Puma circuit. You
Yeah,
helping them
yeah,
high school boys pick it up,
yeah,
huh?
yeah. We played okay. We played all right. What's the word? What's the word, Frank? What's the word?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. E. So look, E, there's a lot of good stuff going on with different countries trying to qualify for the Olympics. Your Dominican boys, E, they lost, I believe. So I think they did not qualify for the Olympics.
Yeah,
Um, but now you got Team USA, who is obviously the team to beat. I think there's some tough competition out there. The Canadian team will be one team that'll be very difficult to beat. The French team with Wembenyama headlining that team would be difficult to beat. And then it got me to thinking, E. It got me to thinking, E. Okay. So let me read out to you the 12 players that are on the team NBA roster. All right. You got LeBron James, you got Steph Curry, you got Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, Kawhi Leonard, Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Bam Adebayo, and Tyrese Halliburton. All right. So E, I got a question for you. Who's going to be the leading scorer on the Team USA team?
wow.
Who's the leading scorer? Because well, no. Before I tell you this, who's the leading scorer? I don't want to influence your opinion.
That's a tough list to pick from. I'm gonna go with. Oh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Kevin Durant. I'm gonna go with Kevin Durant.
So
No,
the
matter,
reason why this came,
matter of fact, I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna go with Anthony Edwards on that. I'm gonna go with
right.
Anthony
So,
Edwards.
so this is the question. Anthony Edwards came out and they were asking him who's going, was he going to be deferring kind of, and he felt like they got to build around him because he's going to be the number one option on the team, and he's
Yeah,
going to be the guy. And it got me to thinking because when he first said it, I'm like, yo, what's wrong with Anthony Edwards, bro? You got all these vets on the team. How he going to be the leading scorer? He going to be the guy. And then as I thought more about it, I said to myself, whoa, right? Maybe. Okay. Because I mean, look, here's some of the guys you have to assume will be in the competition. LeBron will be coming off the bench, probably not playing as much, right? Curry will play a lot, but it's not easy for that guy to score a lot. Okay. So let me tell you one player that I think will be the leading scorer. I don't think it'll be Anthony Edwards. I think it'll be Joel Embiid.
wow. Joel Embiid. Huh?
Right? So
Wow.
Anthony Edwards is great, but a lot of times in these types of games, right, a big man will get easy baskets, will be around the basket, he'll get fouled a lot, etc. Okay. Now,
Yeah,
the question is, will Embiid play as much as Anthony Edwards with the injury history, etc.? Okay.
yeah.
So if Embiid plays a similar amount of minutes as Edwards, then I would have Embiid leading the team in scoring. Okay. Now, if Edwards plays significantly more, I'm going with Edwards too. Okay. And I got KD right as my guy in the wings because KD can score in so many ways and he's so prolific. But I'm going Embiid if he plays enough minutes, okay, and Edwards, right, if Embiid doesn't play a whole bunch of minutes. But it was interesting when Edwards made that comment, and my visceral thought was, yo, bro, really? And then I thought about it again, and I'm like, well, maybe,
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I
right?
said KD first. But then I thought about it. I said, I think Anthony Edwards. I think Ant Man is going to be a leading scorer because he's the alpha male. I mean, they're all alpha males, but I think he's the emerging star. You know what I'm saying? I think that the ball is going to be in his hands a lot, and I think he's a young star, so I think he's going to be the leading scorer on that team.
Over Embiid?
Yes, over Embiid. Over
Okay.
Embiid.
So next question, okay, game winning basket. You're down by one. You're down by one to the Canadian team. Down by one to France. You're down by one, E.
Yeah.
Who is taking the last shot?
Ooh.
Down by one, E. Who is taking the last shot on that roster?
Good
Who you
question.
going to, E, for the bucket?
Good question. Good question. Phew. In that case. I'm gonna go to KD because KD's the guy that can get his shot off, with ease against any defender. His mid range. So I'm going with KD on that one because I think his length, is a tough task for any defender to guard. So I'm going to go with KD on that one.
I'm going Embiid again, E.
Ooh.
I'm going Embiid again because Embiid could do because E. I mean, think about it. You give Embiid the ball, he can play outside, he can play inside. He's versatile. He gets to the free throw line more. He's more dominant. He'll get closer to the basket. So I got to go Embiid in this conversation. Look, I get it. I get it. KD's old also, E. I mean, come on, bro. KD is old, E.
But I'm saying, he's the guy that can get his shot off. You know, he's the guy that can get his shot off against any defender. You know what I'm saying? Like Embiid is great, but Embiid is the guy that if you put a guy that with some length on him and some size on him, I think he's can defend them easier. You know what I'm saying? But KD's the guy that can get to his spot easier, his length, his shot. So I'm going KD on that one. Embiid is great. Don't get me wrong. By the way,
Fair enough.
Embiid should be playing with with one of his team. Where's he originally from Africa? What country is he from Africa?
Why should he play on one of those teams? I mean, he's from Cameroon, I believe. They were going to give him a French passport. He said he would play for France. He changed his mind, so the French team was upset about it. He played with Team USA. I mean, he went to high school in the USA, right? I mean, I think his family's from Cameroon, right? There's some French connection there as well. I mean, why should he be playing? I mean, forget about France. I mean, I can see you say Cameroon, but he probably feel like he didn't have a chance to make it playing for Cameroon.
He could have a chance to make it.
Well, I'm talking about in terms of Cameroon making it to the Olympics. They probably weren't going to get there.
True, that's true. Maybe France, maybe. But then again,
I mean France. I mean, but then the question is this: in France, is he coming off the bench?
why would he come off the bench in France? There's no way he'll come off the bench in France. But you know
Because
how I
you
feel
got
about,
go.
but you know how I feel
Because you
about
got.
in those countries that got
Wait,
all
hold
these
on.
players.
France has Gobert, right, who's been there for years, but more importantly, Wembanyama. And Gobert and Wembanyama play better than Wembanyama. Wembanyama is definitely starting, right? So who do you think plays better next to Wembanyama? Right? Gobert or Embiid? Probably Gobert, because Embiid is a guy that's, skill set, dribbles, needs the ball. So Gobert is a better fit. So he may come off the bench playing for the French national team. As great as he is.
As far as fit wise, yeah, but as far as popularity and
But he's not popular in France. Right? So I mean Gobert came through the French system.
I hear you, but you know how I feel about that whole French thing, all them African players playing for France. But that's another topic. We'll talk about that another time. But
Talk about it. Let's get controversial.
How I
So
feel,
listen,
how I
you
feel
got all
about
these African players playing from France.
yeah.
But all it really is that you get these African players who are coming over. We talked about this before. They come over from Africa, okay, and now all of a sudden they get into INSEP. I believe what it's called. It's like the school that Tony Parker went to, but they get European high level coaching, training, etc. And so those African players that are coming from France, right, are a little bit further ahead than the African players coming from Africa, because some of these kids are coming from third world countries and they don't get the opportunity to get the same nutrients, coaching, all the things you get when you play for, a first world European country. So that's why you see all of these black players, African players, who are now coming over and they're invading the USA and invading the draft, et cetera, et cetera. It's pretty crazy, Eric. So you don't think these are French players because they come from Africa?
No. Those kids should be playing for, their countries back home. That's like Antetokounmpo playing for Greece. Like those kids should be playing. Antetokounmpo's from Nigeria. Let's get the facts straight. He's from Nigeria. His parents are from Nigeria. Let's get the facts straight. A lot of these kids, it's again, it's what these European countries do. Take the best out of Africa. Now they represent France and all these different countries. I don't agree with it, but again, we could talk about that some other time. We got some other topics to talk about, but I just feel like those kids should be playing for representing their countries back.
But let me say this before we switch gears, E. But some of those kids grow up like so should Victor Wembanyama be representing some African country? I mean, some of these kids grow up in France, bro.
Get it. I mean, not get it.
I mean, if that's the argument, should 20 Parker be representing the USA because his dad was from the USA? I mean, these kids might have African backgrounds, but a lot of them grew up in France. It's not like kids are coming from Africa, going to France for 2 or 3 years, and then becoming French citizens and playing for the French national team. Most of these kids grew up in France. Bro, you tripping. But anyway, switching gears.
You know, I know how I feel about that. But anyway, let's switch topics.
Switching gears, E. Okay. Your boy Shakur, let's switch to boxing for a minute. Okay. Your boy Shakur Stevenson is supposed to be the pound for pound best young fighter in the game. Everybody talks about he's the next Floyd Mayweather. You like him now. Don't shake your head all of a sudden. You've been talking about this guy for years. And I've been telling everybody how the guy is overrated. All right. The guy is overrated, right? And everybody's talking about they run with the narrative. Nobody wants to fight him. Everybody's afraid to fight him. And all of this. Tank doesn't want to fight him. Haney left the weight class because he didn't want to fight him. All of that. Okay? Eric, we watched him his last 2 fights. Beyond lackluster. And I believe he's leaving top rank in Bob Arum because he felt like they didn't get him. It was their fault that he didn't get the real fights. They offered him a five fight, $15 million deal that he turned down. So I believe the last fight that he fought over the weekend, yesterday, was his last fight with Top Rank.
Yes.
E, tell me what you think about this guy. Is he the real deal?
Boo. Bad. No good. No bueno. Shakur Stevenson, you're not a fan favorite. I hate to say it, you're not a Shakur Stevenson. I mean, you're a great fighter, you're a technician, you know, and it's that old saying about boxing, you know, the science of boxing: get hit and don't get hit. But he's not a big draw. I mean, fans were leaving even before the decision. Last fight, horrible, Shakur. You know, you got to stop. You got to step your popularity up. You got to do something to attract fans to you. I mean, Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? Before money team money Mayweather, he was Pretty Boy Floyd, and that didn't work out for him. So he changed his character into something that people were gravitated towards, was the money, lifestyle, and he became the face of boxing. So Shakur Stevenson, you got to do something so that fans could be.
Hold on. But he's relatively comparable to the way Floyd fought, though.
Yes,
when he became Money May.
Yes.
When he became Money May, he was a personality, but he still didn't fight, right? Didn't bang. Pause, right? He fought like Shakur. Don't get hit, right? He wasn't really knocking a whole bunch of guys out. A lot of mediocre fighters were going a distance against Floyd. So he was a personality, but he fought very similar to how Shakur fights.
Yes, he did. But he became a personality. And people were drawn to his personality, the money, the fame, the lifestyle, you know, the cars. People gravitated towards that. That's what they were interested in. Remember, they had the 24/7 when they had.
Yeah, I mean, he brought that to life. Let me tell you something.
He brought that to life. And people were you know, happy to see him outside of boxing more than in the ring. People gravitated towards his lifestyle.
Shakur, to me, is one of the more overrated fighters that we've seen. Okay, he's always been lackluster, in my opinion. And by the way, they brought him up fighting bums. He's been. I don't want to say bums. I don't want to call fighters that, but against very mediocre fighters. Eric, he looked so pedestrian in the last 2 fights. He looked terrible. And by the way, the fight before he fought, it was a fight right before his fight on the undercard, and it was another guy that fought like him. I can't. His name is eluding me right now. And he clearly won the fight. He shut the other guy out. But the referees, but not the referees. Excuse me. The judges gave the fight to the other guy, to the Brazilian fighter, because he just was fighting. The other guy was running, hitting him, running. And so, it reminded me of De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad. De La Hoya won that fight, but he won like the first 7-8 rounds. He started running, right? Felix Trinidad pursued him, and then De La Hoya clearly won that fight, but Trinidad got the W because he was pressing the action. Okay.
I don't believe De La Hoya won the fight, but you know,
there was no doubt about that on every scorecard. That's not even debatable, bro.
Listen, the scorecard is one thing, but when you're when you are the guy pursuing the fighter, when you're showing ring generalship, or you are the attacker, the aggressor. You know what I'm saying? And you get some shots off. I mean, the
Eric,
judge,
he won 3 rounds in the fight, Eric.
the judges see that.
Trinidad won 3 rounds in the fight.
I don't know.
He won 3 rounds.
I don't agree to that. I think Trinidad was the more aggressive fighter, and he
He
was.
was aggressive. We're conceding that.
Yes,
But
and
in terms
the
of
judges the judges see that in the ring gentlemanship. He's the
no,
one.
that was all De La Hoya. De La Hoya was a maestro in terms of moving, hitting, not getting hit. But anyway, let me just say this: Stevenson was supposed to be the guy. If I'm Tank Davis, okay, what's my incentive to fight him? You can't even. The fans in your hometown in Newark were booing. They were booing him. He was getting booed by the hometown crowd. People were walking out of the fight. If you are a Tank, if you're any of the fighters who are high level fighters, a weight class, his weight class, a weight class up, a weight class back, why would you fight him?
Yeah,
Why would Tank fight Stevenson?
Yeah, I mean that he's not a main draw. I mean Stevenson's not a main draw, and Tank is a guy that
main draw.
He's not a main draw. I said Tank is a guy that put people in the seats. He's a guy that's going out there, and he got.
But he's also a way better fighter.
I mean, listen, Tank got one thing that a lot of these boxers don't have, and it's that brick hand.
Knockout power.
That knockout power, that brick hand, and and that's what boxing fans want to see. They want to see the knockout, the great knockouts. You know what I'm saying? So, that's why Tank is so popular because of his style of boxing.
And also the Floyd Mayweather thing, his exploits off the field, off the court, out the ring. He's also a personality as well, right? I would never fight against Stevenson. He's not a draw. Nobody wants to come watch him fight. Okay, he's going to run the entire fight and frustrate you. He does have some skill, obviously, but you're way more significant. Same thing with him.
He has skills. I mean, he's what we call it in today's boxing. He's a technician. He's a guy that's going to hit you. He's gonna outscore you. He's what you call. He's a professional fighter, but he has an amateur style of boxing, which is the point system. He's gonna outpoint you. He's gonna outbox you, and that's what Shakur does. In today's boxing, that's not popular. Similar to what Floyd Mayweather was.
But this is the problem with Shakur. He's outboxing bums though. Like at least when Floyd was fighting, Floyd was at least fighting top level fighters, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Shakur is not even fighting the guys at the top of the class, right? He's not doing that against Lomachenko. He's not doing that against Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's fighting guys that are. So anyway, look again. All these overhyped fighters.
And one thing about Shakur, he hasn't been tested. When he faces adversity, he hasn't got.
There you go, E.
When somebody touches him, what I'm saying? We have to see that in him. How would he face adversity when somebody tags him? Now he has to, weather the storm. You know what I'm saying? And Tank is coming, all fight coming at you. And once he figures you out, he's going to drown you. He's going to drown you. So
I mean, even Haney, people like Haney because of his dad, right? And him, there's some personality behind Haney. But yeah, I don't get the Shakur thing. And I'm gonna be honest with you. That's why he turned down 5 fights for $15 million. You should have took that money, because nobody wants to watch him fight. Okay, and you watched him last fight. He kept telling his grandfather, who's his corner guy, who's his trainer, yeah, I'm about to knock him out. He's about to go. And the grandfather he's arguing with the grandfather. It felt like, in between rounds, telling him, I got this. And the performance is lackluster. I am not a fan of his. I just think that it's unfortunate. And, this is where Floyd messed up the game, E. Floyd messed up the game because all these guys now talk about the sweet science, and none of these guys want to fight. All these guys want to be the next Floyd, and they want to run and not fight. Okay, and it's messing up the sport of boxing.
But at least Floyd, he fought some top opponents.
He did do that. But he was the guy though. People. I mean, he was the guy. He did do that. But yeah, E. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
E. By the way, E.
Yeah.
Switching gears for a second. What's crazy, E? And I'm gonna bring this up really quickly. I'm switching gears. So baseball is supposed to be America's sport, right? I'm not sure it is any longer. You know it's crazy, Eric. Baseball's going on right
America's
now.
pastime. That's what they call it, right? America's pastime.
America's pastime, right? Baseball's going on right now. Mookie Betts is hurt. Okay, got hit with a pitch on the arm, on his wrist, I believe it is, and he had to get surgery. And then you got this kid, Paul Skeens from Pittsburgh, who's probably the best pitcher, young pitcher that we've seen come into Major League Baseball since a young Roger Clemens or young. I mean, this kid is electric. Okay, and no one knows it.
Yeah.
It's amazing how far
Nobody knows.
baseball is
Yeah.
falling. I mean, Paul Skeens right now, right? A guy just got drafted, right? He's dating the young lady, Olivia. I forgot what her last name is, who has the Vori commercial. She's the gymnast who's very, very famous, and people, think she's attractive. And she got the Vori NIL, and she's one of the best gymnasts in college. She went to LSU with him. He was an LSU pitcher. And I mean, what he's doing at Pittsburgh is electric. All of his starts, he struck out at least 7 guys.
Yeah.
Electric, 6'6", throwing 102, 104, and we don't even hear about him.
Yeah.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Anyway, I had to just bring that up because it's crazy. Now,
Yeah. I mean,
switching gears, crazy, great. Let me let you say what you was gonna say about that.
And also today's pitchers, it's not like before. I mean, pitchers will go the distance. They'll go 9 innings. You know what I'm saying? Today's pitchers is pitching 6 innings. Then you got middle relief and you got relief pitchers. So it's not like the same where you can really, 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 fall in love with a pitcher. You know what I'm saying? They're only pitching 5 to 6 innings. You know what I mean? Back in the days, those Nolan Ryans, those pitchers. The Tom.
I mean, those guys are different.
Those those guys will pitch 9 innings.
Nolan Ryan has the most shutouts, 1 hitters, 2 hitters, and 3 hitters in the history of the game. At 42 years old, I believe it was. I believe he threw like 160 pitches in a game. He struck out over 5,000 hitters, which means in terms of his strikeouts, you can strike out 250 guys for 22 years, and you still won't catch Nolan Ryan in terms of strikeouts.
Yeah.
I mean, and by the way, his last pitch, when he tore his UCL, right, the where you get your Tommy John surgery,
yes.
Right, he tore it, and then he threw the pitch afterwards 98 miles per hour just to see that if it worked, yeah. Right? So you can't even compare those guys to a guy like Nolan Ryan threw 224 pitches in one game, Eric. 224 pitches in one game. Come on, E. Let's not. We can't even talk from that perspective. But listen,
pitch count. I can't believe it. They're on a pitch count. They only pitch in 6 innings.
That sport is a joke, E. Yeah. Listen, E. I got a question for you. OJ. So there's, Stephen A. Smith said something about OJ during the award show, the BET award show. They mentioned OJ. He said something about it. Faison Love, the comedian, excoriated him, killed him, and then Willie D from the Ghetto Boys also killed him, spoke negatively about Stephen A, called him a coon, called him all kind of crazy names, etc. How did you land on OJ, E? Like, what are your thoughts about OJ Simpson?
My thoughts is, great football player. If we're just gonna talk sports, let's just talk sports. He's a phenomenal football player. A lot of his stats. People don't mention a lot of his stats. The guy was the first runner to rush for over 2,000 yards a season. Let's keep it football. We're gonna talk about let's keep it football. And it's sad, off the field stuff. Very controversial. Obviously, the court case, the court case, and all that stuff. The man is dead. Let's give the man his flowers. Let's celebrate OJ Simpson. I understand it. Everything surrounding OJ Simpson, very controversial person. Jay-Z said a song. Okay, OJ, all this stuff. He's a cool and all that stuff. But let's celebrate him.
No. Hold on. I got to stop you. OJ, Jay-Z quoted OJ Simpson. Yeah. In the album 444, I believe the album was. When he says, when OJ Simpson said, "I'm not black, I'm OJ."
Yeah, that's what he said.
Let's be clear. So Jay-Z was quoting OJ when he said that.
Yeah. I'm not black, I'm OJ. So
okay, again, let's call a spade a spade.
Off the field stuff. Let's keep it football. Let's celebrate the man for what he accomplished as a football player, because that's what we know him by. That's what we know him for as a football player. off the field stuff, you know.
Yo, so let me say this. I don't really mess with OJ Simpson. And let me tell you why. So he was a great football player. We acknowledge that. But let me say this, all right? I'm not black, I'm OJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, in reference to the case, when people say he was a murderer, all that kind of stuff, he beat the case. Fair enough? He beat the case. Say what you want to say. People beat cases all the time, right? So ultimately, he beat the case. So the man is innocent.
Yeah.
He beat the case, right? So we can't get into that. We can have our opinion on whether we thought he should have beat the case or not. But white people, but they beat the case for years and years and years and years and years. It was what it was, right? He beat the case.
But what you about to say? Right? White people what? What you about to say? White people what?
I said white people for years and years and years, right? They beat the case. They've gotten exonerated, et cetera, right? But the problem was you got this black man, right, who committed a heinous act against a white woman, okay, allegedly, committed I mean, that's what it really was, right? Black and white, and then and by the way, Faison said this, and he beat the case in a white system, right? I mean, it was a white system. To keep it real, he beat the case in the white system.
Man, OJ,
so
man.
In the white system, with a black head lawyer, Johnny Cochran.
Yes.
Right? So he beat the case. But this is why, and I'm with Stephen A on this. You know what I'm saying? But OJ didn't mess with black people. He didn't. He said, I'm not black, I'm OJ. Himself, that's out of his mouth. And OJ wasn't with the black people, Eric, until he got the situation, right? Until he first got the trial. Then all of a sudden he wanted to go to the black community, go to the black churches and all this kind of nonsense. OJ ain't never cared about nothing black in his life.
OJ went to the airport. Them commercials, Hertz commercials, went to the airport.
Yeah, Hertz commercials. Come on, bro. So OJ, great football player, but he never messed with black people.
Yeah.
He didn't. Right? He was never a guy. And Stephen A said that. And I got to give him, the guy wasn't a guy that messed with black people. So as a black man, it's hard to embrace him. Like Cameron and them, they embraced him later on. They was having him on the show. It was what it was. I don't know if it was a joke, kind of a little bit of a joke, right? Having OJ on the show once a week or whatever it was. But the man didn't mess with black people. He didn't. Right? His first wife was black. He divorced her. And I don't think he ever saw anything black ever since then.
I'm just saying, let's celebrate his career. Great football.
But Eric, you can't separate though, right? Like part of what you like about athletes is you like their career, but like you just said yourself, right? You didn't just celebrate Floyd Mayweather's exploits in the ring. You like Floyd Mayweather because some of the stuff out the ring. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean,
so you can't. I mean, so people like LeBron because of on the court and off the court.
So let me ask you this, and I want to switch it real quick. So what about I hear a lot of fans say about R. Kelly, phenomenal.
Oh boy,
phenomenal R&B artist. Let's keep it above. Let's keep it 100, Frank. Phenomenal R&B artist, one of the best, right? And then you got the off the the other side where all the stuff. You know how I feel about that. He could rot in jail. Fuck him. Excuse my language. But phenomenal artist. So we should penalize him and say, oh, he because of the stuff that he did. You know what I mean? I'm just
absolutely yes. You know why?
I agree with you, but I'm just saying
but hold on, OJ was not convicted of a crime. In terms of the murder, he got convicted later of trying to get his memorabilia back, right, for robbery. By the way, and when they convicted him for that, it was really to get him for the other case, right?
Of
course, he went to get his own memorabilia back that people stole from him. Yeah. But anyway, R. Kelly is a convicted felon, pedophile. Yes.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying his music, his catalog.
What does that mean?
Should we not celebrate what he accomplished?
You should celebrate nothing of anybody who does something like that. No, you should not celebrate anything that people do like that. Right? A person who did what he did should not be celebrated in no way, shape, or form. You out of your mind if you think he should be celebrated.
So you don't. So you don't enjoy R. Kelly's music?
No, I don't listen to R. Kelly's music anymore. No, I do not. Absolutely not. No way, bro.
Every now and then I throw in Chocolate Factory and all those great albums he made, and I listen to
Great
them.
albums, but nah. So
Every now and then,
what you're doing?
I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. But
So
what he
E.
did. But
So
every
you
now and
economically. So E. Just so that when you plays music,
then,
right, with streaming and the way it goes now, you put money in his pocket. Okay,
I hear
you're
you.
supporting him. So just understand the magnitude.
Yeah,
When
I
you because people say Michael Jackson did things. Michael Jackson was never convicted, right? We don't know, right?
So
All I'm saying is that
you don't listen to Michael Jackson?
he never got convicted of anything,
Okay.
right? Isn't that the system that we live in? We can have opinions, but ultimately, as much as we may think or not think, R. Kelly is convicted. Convicted felon of horrible atrocities and things that he did. Correct? That's like making the argument, right? That well, even though Hitler did what he did, right? Let's talk about some of the positives. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't look at him and say, well, he did this, that. You can't look at it that way. You got to look at the man as an abomination. You can't look at R. Kelly and separate the music.
A lot of people
Nah,
do.
bro, you
That's
tripping.
why I brought it up. I mean, R. Kelly,
You tripping, bro.
little Chocolate Factory don't hurt nobody now. Every now and then, Frank.
No. You can't support that kind of nonsense, bro. No. So so anyway, OJ is a controversial figure. The man made a man rest in peace, right?
Yes.
Obviously. So I'm gonna end it with this last question. Okay, last topic of the day. You ready?
Yes.
Do you think so? People underestimate this. Okay, Tatum and Brown is a good example. Everybody knew for Boston to win, Tatum and Brown had to coexist. Okay. And Marcus Smart was a guy early on that was trying to get that to happen, but egos, etc., was standing in the way. Okay. And they fought, and even this year, I think they won based upon people being injured in the rest of the Eastern Conference and whatever, right? East and West. But they won. Okay. So now look at Brunson with the Knicks. And the Knicks now have almost an embarrassment of riches. Okay, you brought in Bridges, who's a good player. Randall's coming back, all-star level player. Mikal Bridges has all-star level potential. Okay. You got the kid OG Anunoby, who people seem to be very high on. They gave him over $200 million. You still got Josh Hart. DiVincenzo is also a very talented offensive guy. So, do you think Brunson's going to be able to now completely change his role and accept that, right, for the better of the team? And let me tell, and let me get deeper. Brunson was a good player at Villanova, right? Won national championships, came into the NBA, second round pick, I believe it was, or late pick, first round pick, but second round pick, I think.
Second round pick, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's right. Went to Dallas, was a bench player, became a six man at some point. Now all of a sudden he gets to the Knicks and it's his show, right? It's his show, and everybody's like, "Yo, he's the guy." And now all of a sudden you go from being a guy that, Doncic was the guy in Dallas. You go from being a guy that's, no one cares enough about to being on the cover of every billboard and being the guy in New York City, Eric. The guy in New York City. Taking all the shots, as I mentioned on the show before, one playoff game in the overtime, he took every shot. All the shots are for you, right? You're getting 40s, 50 balls, 40s, 50s. You're killing. You the guy. You went from never being that guy. High school, good player, high-level player. College, good player at Villanova, right? But now you come to New York and you the guy. And now all of a sudden you got all these guys around you. Do you think Brunson's going to be able to, because he got to change his way he plays. They can't win with him taking 40 shots.
No, they can't win with him, but he has to be the main focal point of the offense, I believe. Can't win with him taking 40 shots, but he's the main focal point in the offense.
What does that mean, though? So, I mean, does that mean he gets, because if he's taking all those shots, the other guy's not getting the ball? So you say main focal point. What is that? Because let me tell you why. Steph Curry is the focal point, but Draymond Green is still moving the ball around, right?
What I'm saying, main focal point is the guy that this guy is going to initiate offense. You know what I'm saying? He's the first option. Initiate offense. And he's a guy that's, very cerebral on the basketball court. He'll make the right play. But, he's a guy that's going to have to initiate offense. You know what I'm saying? He's the first guy. He's the first option. Does he have to change his
Well,
game?
hold on. Hold on. Let's clarify. First option, the guy that initiates offense, right, doesn't mean that he's the first option. You can have a point guard who initiates offense, right? Like Chris Paul is a guy who initiates offense. It doesn't mean he's the first option.
Yeah, but he's a facilitator.
Okay?
He's a facilitator. Brunson is a guy that's looking to hunt for his shot. He's hunting his shot. He's hunting.
Right. So that's not a facilitator. That's not a facilitator.
I know that. I said Chris. I said.
Right. But Eric, but can you win now with all of these guys that are high level players with your point guard being a shot hunter?
I mean,
can you win? Because Randall's.
I think it has to be a balance, Frank. It has to be a balance. Know when to get your shot off and know when to distribute the basketball. I think he's a very cerebral player. He'll figure it out. I think he's a guy that can hunt his shot and also be a guy that, draw, kick, and the ball's moving. The ball's not sticking. So
like who? What point guard hunts his shot, right? But also is getting all of these high level players involved too. Who does that? That don't exist. That's not possible.
It's not too many of those, but then you have some guys that are.
There's nobody who does that. Who?
I mean, there's a guy on the limit. Hallenberg is a guy that's hunting his shot and also facilitating.
Who?
Guy from Indiana. Tyrese Hallenberg, whatever his name is.
Eric. Let me tell you that example don't work, right? He hunting his shot, but he's hunting his shot. He's doing some facilitation, but he ain't got no studs on his team. Brunson got a team full of what?
Siakam is good. Siakam is a good player,
and that's it. Yo, Brunson got an all-star with him. Randall.
No. Randall's not a no. Randall's not a guy that you can.
Well, hold on. No. I'm just saying he got higher level players on his team than Indiana does. So the point I'm making is Indiana needs him to score, Halliburton to score like that. The Knicks arguably don't need that because you got Randall who can score, Mikal Bridges who can score, Anobi who can score. I mean, you got three guys who can score the ball really. And then you got guys like, again, and other guys.
Those guys are not proven guys when the game matters.
Randall's not proven?
When the bright lights is on. Frank, you saw what he did in the playoff. You saw what he did in the playoff.
Randall's not proven?
He's not a guy that you can rely on in the playoff, Frank. You know that. Stop it. Come on.
Eric,
Stop it. Come
on. Eric, I'm not saying that he has to get, I'm not saying he got to be the guy. But the ball has to be spread out for this team to be successful is my point. I'm not saying Randall needs to take 30 shots either. I don't think any of those guys should take that many shots for them to win.
Okay, so I'm saying I said earlier.
But your point guard can't be a shot hunter.
It has to be a balance, Frank. It has to be a balance.
There's no balance. How does that exist when you're a point guard? Frank, the ball's in your hands.
Frank, he's a guy that has to, have balance. He's the only one that could create it. He's the only one that could create his own shot for the most part. Randall's a guy we've seen in the playoffs. He's not a guy that you can give the ball to and say, okay, Randall, go, make a play for us. He's not that. Bridges, we haven't seen. We don't know yet. I don't know, but we don't know yet. You know what you're getting with Brunson. You know what you're getting with him. You know what you're
Eric, but you can't. But those guys can't be effective if Brunson's taking all the shots.
I understand that. That's why
you're hamstringing those players.
That's why I said it has to be a balance. Frank, he has to figure it out and be a balance. When to go and when to distribute the basketball. I said that.
Eric, who's taking the most shots on the team? I'm asking.
Brunson.
So the other guys can't get off then.
Frank.
No point guard can take. Eric, no point guard can take.
Long game, Frank. Come on, Frank.
The
late situations. I'm going with Brunson with the ball. Make the
Eric, time out. You saying late situations? You may have gone with Chris Paul with the ball in late situations, but most of the game he's not taking all the shots. So you're talking about two different scenarios. Just because you might have gone to Robert Horry in the late situation, he wasn't the guy that was taking all the shots.
No,
so you can't say
you wasn't joining up to play for Robert Horry, Frank. Come on, you wasn't joining up.
Yes, you were.
No, you wasn't. You was never joining up to play for Robert Horry. Never.
Eric,
he was in Houston.
Eric,
he was never joining up to play. He was not the
Eric,
first.
Big Shot Bobby.
Yes,
that's his name.
He made that.
That's his name.
He made that name
because he made Big Shot after Big Shot.
Frank, he made that name when he was playing with Los Angeles Lakers when Body Divas tipped the ball out and he made that big shot. All of a sudden,
That's not no.
and
He got
played well.
he got that name
He played
in
well with
Houston.
Houston. He played well with Houston.
He got that name in Houston.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Frank. He played well with Houston, but he made his big name. He played well. He played well with Houston. He played well with San Antonio, and he made that big shot when Bloody Vidas, instead of grabbing it, tipped the shit out.
But he was big shot Bobby before that. That's what his reputation is.
No coach is joining to play for. No coach is joining to play for Robert Horry, Frank.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Frank.
Eric.
If you're a coach, you join to play a late game situation, you join to play for Robert Horry? I'm asking.
Can I finish?
Okay, go ahead. I'm asking.
Let me say this, Eric. Doesn't mean the guy's your best player, right? It doesn't mean your guy's your best player.
That's not my question. Are you joining to play for Robert Horry?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes.
Frank, you're gonna get fired, Frank.
Hold on. Let me tell you why. I may tell somebody else to make the play for him, get in the lane, right, and hit Big Bob for that 3. If I'm in Houston Rockets, I need a 3. I'm telling, let's go to Akeem. Akeem, drop it out to Big Bob. Big shot Bob. Robert Horry for the game-winning 3.
Oh,
but hold on, E. Derek Fisher's a guy who they would draw plays up for to get the last shot.
I asked you, if you a coach, are you joining to play for Robert Horry? That's what I'm asking.
I said that. I answered that already. So I answered that question already. So now I'm giving you an example.
You said yes.
Eric, I said that absolutely yes already, and I repeat yes. And by the way, it doesn't mean timeout. If LeBron James is on your team and Kyrie Irving is on your team, you join to play for Kyrie Irving, not LeBron. So you can have a guy that's your most clutch player, but it's not your best player. So the point is this, right? Chris Paul was a guy you may draw a play up for, but he's not the guy taking all the shots. The point I'm making is, listen, I may agree with you. If I'm drawing up a play at the very end of the game, I'm going to Brunson. But what I can't have is Brunson coming up the court, Eric, taking 35 shots, because that means nobody's touching the ball. And I got stars. And by the way, these are not role players.
Frank, I agree with you on him taking that's a lot of shots from a point guard. 35 shots is a lot of shots. I'm agree with you on that one, Frank. All I'm saying has to be a balance. You know what I'm saying? And he has to know when to make the right play, when to facilitate, when to get the guys involved. Even in late clock situation, he could draw, kick, trust his shooters, trust his guys. You know what I'm saying? We saw in the playoff, Hart make big shots after big shots, late clock situations. So I'm not saying take 35 shots in a game. That's from a point guard, that's unheard of.
Yeah, but your best player is taking 25 shots a game, probably, on most teams. Your best player is doing that. And the problem is this. Steph Curry can do it because Draymond Green is the person moving the ball around. Steph Curry's not bringing the ball up going one-on-one. Brunson plays that way. Steph Curry's not taking the ball out, dribbling around 30 times to get a shot up. That's not his game. Just ball movement, right? That's not how your guy, Brunson, he's a ball stopper, ball dribbler, pause. That's all he does. So by the way, with Curry running up all these screens, the ball is moving. The ball don't move with this guy. So how can these other guys get off?
I think, again, the system, they got to figure out, how they can play best within the team concept, be able to facilitate, be able to move the ball, late clock situation, Brunson with the ball, making the right play. I think they have to, orchestrate that. They have to figure out in the offseason how are we going to be able to incorporate all these guys now, and nobody.
So you answered my question. So do you think Brunson's going to be able to step his game back? Okay, and become more.
I think he will.
Okay, so we're gonna see.
Because
because egos always play a part. People say I think he will, but a lot of times, as you know, what makes sense doesn't make sense when everybody got egos and you got your boys telling you the man, his boys telling him he the man, and there's
he don't seem that way. He seems like a real down to earth guy. Humble guy. I think he don't seem that way.
I don't know. He might have been that way. But now he's a star.
I don't think the new lights is going to get to him. I think he has great family structure with his father being there.
Whoa, family structure. You don't know what this family structure is. Don't do that.
I mean,
What do you mean you got great family structure?
His father's there. You know what I'm saying? His father's
Oh,
there.
but you said family structure. I mean, what does that mean?
I mean,
Ego. What do you mean? So because your father's there, you don't got an ego? Kobe, you because your father's there.
He don't seem that way. He don't seem that
Talking
way.
about Michael Jordan's father was there too. He have an ego. He had good family structure.
He don't seem that way to me, Frank. He don't seem that way to me.
Okay, well, I don't know what that family structure nonsense.
I see the young fella. I see the young fella when he was very young, playing for Matt Irvin, and he just seems like a guy that just.
Eric, he's a different guy now. Let's not talk about high school. We're talking about the guy that's Eric. The high school guy is not the guy that's on billboards in New York right now.
I get it, Frank,
and the best player in the Knicks. The same guy.
Frank, I understand the bright lights of New York could get to players, and he could get, over his head, and he could feel a certain way, feeling himself, ego, and all that stuff. Now he's on billboards. It just, to me, he doesn't seem that type of player that'll let all these outside distractions affect him as a young man. Let
me ask you a question. Does Tatum seem like that kind of player? No. And Brown doesn't either. No, when you looked at Tatum at Duke or you looked at Tatum in high school, he didn't seem like that kind of guy. Krzyzewski used to say he was too soft, and he wasn't aggressive enough. And then all of a sudden, he became the guy in Boston.
Again, fame and fortune and all that stuff could get to players.
Like Brunson. Brunson had none of it.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Frank. All I'm saying.
So let's see.
All I'm saying is, to me, doesn't seem the way that the bright lights of New York will get to him. The billboards, everybody's, he's the main guy now. So I don't think, to me, it'll affect him as a young man. But we'll see. We know the bright lights of New York can affect a lot of players. Look at Dwight Howard. I mean, not Dwight Gooden. Those guys, Strawberry, how the bright lights of New York, Lawrence Taylor, those guys, how it affected them, the bright lights.
We're talking about the man going on drugs, bro. We're not talking about the man going on. We're just talking about the man feeling himself. Pause. We ain't talking about the man going on drugs, bro. Come on, dog.
The bright lights of New York can do that for you. The bright lights can do that.
But all I'm saying is the bright lights gonna make the man pass the ball less. You talking about coke? You talking about dudes becoming crackheads, bro? All I want to know is the man gonna pass the ball. You talking about the man becoming the crackhead, bro? Come on, dog. What's wrong with you?
These guys talk about it. These guys talk about it.
Come on, man.
That team with the Mets, those guys were all drug addicts. You know what I'm saying? The bright lights of New York can change people. I don't think.
Listen, all I want to know is the man gonna pass the ball, man. I want to know if the man gonna be a crackhead, bro. I don't think the man gonna be a crackhead. All I want to know is the man gonna pass the ball, bro. But we'll see though, right? I think the Knicks on paper, to me, I think they had the best offseason. I think it's gonna be interesting to see what the Knicks do this year. I think they had the best offseason because I think Philadelphia with Paul George and Embiid, one of those guys will be hurt and it won't work out. For that reason, I think the Knicks have a better chance. But anyway, as we do, let's wrap up. And as we always do, this is the time in the show where we give you the opportunity to shout out your Dominican brothers and sisters out there in the marketplace killing it. So the floor is yours, E. And Brunson, I don't think you're going to be a crackhead like Eric does. Go ahead, E.
Listen, the bright lights can do it to you. I mean, we've seen it. Listen, this one, I just found out, Chris Duarte traded to the Chicago Bulls. This is third team in 4 years now. I think he has to find a home for him, and I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for the young man. It's a young man that stayed in my house, and all he did was eat cereal for 5 days straight. So I'm pulling for him. Chris Duarte de lo mío, let's have a breakout year this year. Solidify that second contract. Solidify, some for your family and everybody else. Back home in the Dominican Republic. He had a great great showing at the FIBA. So Chris Duarte de lo mío, I'm pulling for you, baby. Chicago, let's treat.
I got two questions. One, how you gonna have a man, future NBA player in your house, or you feed the man with cereal, bro?
No, that's
what kind of host are you, bro?
That's what he wanted.
You so cheap. You ain't even take him to Malicone to get some chicken and some rice to be. You got the man eating cereal for 5 days straight, and then eat. Hey, what kind of was he eating? Lucky Charms? Was he eating Cocoa Puffs, Captain Crunch?
Apple Jacks.
Fruit Loops?
That's what he wanted to eat. Hey,
come on, bro! You got the man. Yo, Duarte, man. Come on, man. The man got you in his house for 5 days eating Apple Jacks all day long, bro. Unbelievable.
Duarte. Come on, go out there. I'm pulling for you, baby. New home, new
All right.
start.
Yeah,
Let's start. Let's go.
you out of control, bro. All right, well, listen. We out.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe. Love to get the feedback, the opinions.
Yes.
Keep showing love.
Yes.
We out.
On our way to 30,000. On our way to 30,000. Let's make that happen, fans. On our way to 30,000 subscribers. Let's make that happen. Thank you.
I'm gonna start calling you the cereal man, bro. We out, bro.
We out. Oh man.